Yeah,
I was, innit?
Ready to hit the record
Alright,
button.
Sonny, here's your headset.
I was like, what's going on?
We
We did do Sonny's sound check.
Yeah, we will.
So open these up so we don't.
Yeah, do your thing, bro. Do what makes you happy.
I love how these wires are just running through everything.
Made us so much sweets.
There's so many wires.
No, I've hardly eaten.
Yeah, neither's Ferris.
The cheek of him. No way, the guy doesn't have no clue on Ramadan, does he?
Hey, we should have more
Bruv,
fun
he
with
was-
the podcast while you're not mic'd up. They love doing that.
He
Wait.
was fasting, bro, innit? He just
Ramadan.
opened his fast.
Am I?
No, seriously, though, before we start, I want to say a few words for Ferris.
Oh, wait, one sec.
Few words, I haven't passed away, mate.
We're just going to sort out a little Sonny Webster there.
Just a few words for Ferris. Bismillah rahman rahim.
No, keep going.
That was good. Go on,
Keep
carry
going.
on.
Keep going.
Fake Muslim. You ain't done the next bit, do you?
Bro, fake Muslim, cuz.
Go on, do the rest.
Allah. No,
That was good. The first bit was
Hey,
good.
you know the tone is hard, cuz.
Yeah.
So you're on day 1 now, yeah?
Nah, day two,
Day
mashallah.
2. Yeah, day 2.
Mashallah, yes. That is the perfect moment you say that.
Yeah,
Mashallah.
well done. See, he's learning.
You're learning. When they open the fast, mashallah.
Yeah. Last year he gave it a bit of a stab, didn't he?
Yeah. Mate, I was getting my blood works done for life insurance. And the lady in there...
What are you worth?
I like that.
Anything sharp?
Basically, for anyone wondering, I decided to take over my parents' mortgage this year. But that means that if I die, then they're out of a home. So I need to get a life insurance policy so that if I die, the mortgage is covered. So I went in, had my bloods, and the lady in there, she was wearing a hood. And not like a hood. What do you call it?
Like a hijab.
A hijab, yeah.
Hood. Mate, he came home the other day, he was like, yeah.
I love it because it comes from a good place.
Yeah.
But then I'm sat there shitting my pants because you know like when a girl's 6'2" at the bar next to you, all you want to do is go, "You're tall."
Yeah.
All I wanted to do is say to her like, "Where you from?"
You want to acknowledge it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, it was day 1 of Ramadan the next day, so I was like, I want to have a conversation, and I'm there just like, this girl, if I turn to her and go, "So where you from?" She goes, "Australia."
This could go wrong.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Where you from?" She's like, "Lebanon." And I was like, "Mashallah." I was like, day 1 of Ramadan tomorrow. And she was like, "Yeah." And like I was getting in a comment. She was very surprised. I said, "I get it. Like I'm a big white guy, like, and I'm here saying Mashallah, knowing when Ramadan starts." And she was like, "We spoke about it the whole time." And she was doing my blood works, all of that, and she's like, "My husband, I tell him not to do it. He smokes, and you can't. Can you smoke if you're a man? You can't."
No, you
Nothing.
can't. Yeah, that's one
So
thing
she's
for
like,
sure.
"I cannot deal with him when he doesn't smoke." So like,
Can't have sex either. That's not a problem for Fess, is it? Fucking hell.
straight into the booth.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, how you finding day 2?
Yeah, it's good. I think the first 2 days. So I guess if anyone doesn't know what Ramadan is, it's when you kind of abstain from food and water and sex, as Sonny says, from daylight hours. So from the moment that the sun rises to the sun sets. So yeah, I think day 2, the first 2 days, to be honest with you, the hardest bit is like getting used to not having any caffeine, or if you smoke, for example, so your body like adjusts. But like week 2 and stuff, you kind of your body levels it out, you get used to it. But right now, you're just like your mind's just.
I forgot about the caffeine.
Do some people who can sleep throughout the daylight hours and then wake up at night?
Yeah, I mean,
Is that cheating though?
Okay.
Yeah, but like Darren's probably got a point in this, but that's the difference. Like in the Arab culture, like in Morocco, for example, a lot of things shift. Whereas like even I don't know if I've never been to Dubai, but a lot of you've been there before. Whereas they'll shut certain shops at a certain hour to kind of help you out, and then the city will actually come to life in the evenings.
Yeah.
Whereas like for me, you have to, if you're in a Western society, you have to adjust to that.
That and really rich kids that I know in Turkey, they're like, they stay out until like 3-4 a.m. right during the summer, and they don't wake up till 1-2 p.m. And I'm like, this.
So
I'm
it's
like,
not that bad.
I'm
for
like,
them.
it's not that bad. I'm like, why are you doing this? This is not the point of fasting.
They're playing the system.
They're playing the system.
If you've got nothing to do, you can play the system. Like in the summer, like you literally sleep into as late as you can, wake up, you've got a few hours. But behind it all, it's not just about the fact of eating. If it's just that, then you might as well just eat.
That's the thing, because I was chatting to my friend today, and his family are Muslim, and he was like, "Oh well, I'm not going to be able to do not eating throughout the day." But he said he uses it as an opportunity just to like wind things back a little bit and be a little bit more sensible and get a bit of structure in his life. So, is that frowned upon, or do you think still people can still use this month as an opportunity to gain a bit of discipline in their lives, even if it's not as strict as Ramadan should be?
Yeah, I think each their own capacity. I think if you can do it all, great. It's like that one time of the year. I think it's funny because like we all know like Muslims who will do everything else. Do you know what I mean? They'll eat pork, drink everything. Then it comes to like 1 month of the year, and like, you know, everyone. Yeah, it's like, oh, suddenly he's praying 5 times a day. He's going to the mosque and he starts giving out all these things. But the thing from it is that just like be positive around it, because there's always one take home that you can do afterwards. Like for me, I'm probably like try and be as perfect as I can during the month, but I'll take home something from this month
Afterwards.
yeah.
I'm gonna back you on that, and then tell your friend he should be doing it for Allah, bruv.
Yeah.
So no, you shouldn't be winding down because you want to take a chill month. You should be thinking about that, because that's why you do it, right?
Yeah.
I think he's just thinking he's not going to go on a bender for a month.
To be fair, when last year I was like, oh, do you know what? I could drop a couple kg. I'll do it with you. Well, I'm not going to do it for Allah, am I? I've never met him.
Secret diet.
I've never met him. I've never met him.
So then I was like, oh, do you know what? I could drop a couple kg and help my mate out. So, but I was drinking water throughout the day. And we would wait till 5:15, and at first I had no appreciation for it. Then I got so excited. I was like, 1 hour, Ferris, meet me. We'd go watch the sunset, and we'd take picnics to nice little picturesque parts of Sydney. And then you explain to me, you're like, we actually make a big deal out of when we get to eat. And it is like, you know, having foreplay with someone and them not letting you finish, and then later on that night when the parents go out, you can do it.
Shower man ting.
Man just compared Ramadan to beating.
That's Smiths, isn't it? But you're right. It's everything else.
It heightens it.
Yeah, but it's meant to encourage everyone to get together. So like usually, like, you know, one evening Deering would have us round for food. You know, even like the way that you buy me food and stuff like that, it encourages all kind of the good moral behaviours and stuff like that. Like it's not just the fact of individually just starving yourself.
Brings people
it does
together.
it does bring a lot of people together. It is like that in Turkey. Like fast time, it's crazy. Like all the restaurants in Turkey, like Istanbul, any Muslim country, all restaurants will be booked out at that time. The minute you hear it from the mosque, boom, everyone has a sip of water, a date, bang, and everyone's in. Everyone's in. No,
it is sick, because I completely appreciate that. And I said to that woman, I said, I bet you're buzzing tomorrow night, you know. Because if you think in white Western, like look at the Smith family where I grew up, mum cooked dinner at night, everyone was there. I would have to give my mum and dad notice if I wasn't in for dinner, because my mum would take the most offence from that. And like, no matter what you're doing in your day, you come together for 7 p.m. for dinner. If I had a PT client, my mum would be like, that's around dinner time. And imagine, it's almost like taking that away and then bringing it back in the more, you know, spiritual sense. But it's interesting.
It's the exact same thing, and like it takes certain things to happen in this world for people to like get back to that. It's like COVID, right? COVID happens and it forced people to like really appreciate the small things. And like, you know, some people some people don't need Ramadan to kind of congregate. Like you said, like certain households will make sure that everyone has dinner together. But you literally, like for me now, I really appreciate food, or I can't wait to have a coffee. And it's like, don't get me wrong, Allah, you know, 2 days would probably be enough. I appreciate coffee. You know what I mean? I don't need to do 30 days, but all right, I'll do it. Do you know what I mean? But it just grounds you again a little bit to what's really important.
I think it's hard. It would be way harder to do it here, or even in the UK, because, I mean, if you're in a Muslim country and you do it with everyone that's around you is Muslim, you're held more accountable, and it makes it easier that everyone else is going through the same thing together. Whereas here, you're probably going to work, you're seeing Susan going for a 9 a.m. coffee, cuz. You know what I mean?
Oh, would you like a drink? Yeah, would you like a Ferris? Would you like? Oh, that's right, you're fasting. What's this diet you're doing, mate? What, you can't drink water?
And I bet people are like, what do you mean you can't eat? That's fucking stupid. That's what about the gains, mate?
Yeah, it's literally that. But
still can't finish a fucking meal in Ramadan.
Oh, mate. But the thing is like people always go, oh, you're going to eat loads in the evening, and you don't, because your stomach shrinks a little bit. So you have to have a little bit of a soup. Like, what were you like?
I lost weight quick, because when I got in, I remember I was logging my food. I was eating them. I think I was having 3 My Muscle Chef meals.
Yeah, you were a dustbin.
And then a Macca's. And I was still only having 2,500 calories. It's put me in a deficit. And I was going to bed like inflatedly large. But it's crazy, right? Coming here, we're like, Ferris, have some sweets. He's like, nah, I can't be eating that. I'm like, hold on. 1 month of the year you actually give a shit about your fucking nutrition is the time you're fasting.
It's because I got a short window, so I got to make sure that it's.
What about the other 11 months, brother?
It's actually easier for you to get calories in like this than that.
Oh, give me one of those sugary laces now.
Yeah.
Which one?
This one, isn't it?
Do your thing, bro.
I think no, you haven't left any.
All of the kind of Muslims that I get a lot of questions about it. What should I be doing? How can I maximize Ramadan for fat loss? Or what should I be doing in my training? I think with the training component, not to make this a fitness podcast, they should be probably dialing back on that, because they're quite literally in putting themselves in a position where they can't train that much. Have a month off, your joints will be happy. But I would just see it as 1 meal a day, which some people that aren't doing Ramadan go to 1 meal a day for fat loss, for, if they've got issues with their digestion or whatever, play into it.
Bro, 1 meal a day, big meal, high calories, lots of water, lots of salt, stay hydrated, because that, I reckon we can all go without eating if we had to.
Yeah, for a day.
But when you're dehydrated,
Is that the main bit?
Mate, if you're dehydrated, it's way worse than feeling hungry. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I wonder
definitely.
how humans lasted so long. Like, because I look around, all I see is ponds and that, right? How
What,
human
ponds?
Ponds.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
Like
you can't.
water.
What can you
Like
drink?
where the duck
Your own
go.
piss?
Yeah.
Would you drink your own piss if you had to?
No, but I'm saying hundreds and thousands of years, right? Humans had to go find fresh water. Right now, you just got to find an easy mart. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, pay $8.
you know,
This is the thing. This is why we're all pussies.
yeah, it is.
Stay by
Imagine
the
if we had
sea.
to hunt our food. You know what I mean? Now we're all soft, like soft bodies and that.
Quick question for Sunny and Duran here, actually. So I was trying to say to Ferris the other day, I was like, look, I'm trying to put together a Ramadan strategy. A Rama strategy.
Ramastrap.
Man's thinking about marketing, bro.
Strataram.
Strataram.
4 weeks Ramadan program. Swipe up.
That rhymes.
If it was me,
Yeah.
I would wake up, I would have a drink that contains electrolytes in the morning. I don't think I'd use the morning as an eating period at all. I'd lean out of bed, drink the fluids, go back to sleep, maximise my sleep, and then eat throughout the day, because you're waking up at like 4
Half 4, yeah.
to eat.
Well, I had this morning, I had 1 crumpet and like a protein smoothie with a bit of oats.
So for me, right, if you were to, and I want these boys to disagree with me, if you wake up and one, you're eating at a time you would never eat, your circadian rhythm, I don't even think your hunger hormones would be quite functioning at that time.
Oh, mate, no.
2, you're jeopardizing your sleep, which again is going to play into your hunger hormones and circadian rhythm. 3, you're consuming carbohydrate-rich foods before a period of not hydrating. To me, it's like, meh, meh, meh.
I would go to bed later, eat more, and then try and sleep throughout, and then wake up and just from now on to when you go to bed, just eat water.
I wouldn't eat before your fast, because I think
you
that would
wouldn't
make it a
before.
lot harder. I would wait.
Yeah.
4:30. I wouldn't even open my eyes. I'd have 600 milliliters of fucking electrolyte water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like when you piss and you don't open your eyes properly.
Yeah.
You do that in your bed, didn't you?
Yeah, I open my eye mask. I'm like, "Where's the toilet?" I sit there and I'm like meditating on the toilet to make sure I don't wake up.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
back in bed. I
You reckon?
just try it out.
100. I agree.
I would, because, mate, I felt like shit today.
Yeah,
My stomach just I felt super, I don't know, I was super thirsty,
Because
mate.
you need a lot of water after you consume carbohydrates.
How much water would you say you had yesterday?
Almost 2 litres.
I don't think
Almost.
that's enough.
I'd have like a 2,000 calorie shake, just something blended up, smack that and the water, and then I'm good.
But I don't know about the oats in that.
But that's
because-
what I do most mornings. That'd
But
be
then
my
you drink
first meal
water
of the
after
day.
and you train.
I drink water before, yeah, and then I'll train.
Because when I drink, or when you have carbohydrates, say several, maybe couple hundred grams of carbs, carbohydrates, there has to be water that accompanies those cells. And often when people can experience bloating, it's when they're not drinking enough water, and they retain water because there's not enough in circulation. So like, even if you were to wake up, maybe some eggs, something that isn't going to draw water from your reserves, because you're going to have a certain amount of water that circulates in the bloodstream. And
I think that's what happened today then.
yeah,
Learn something new every day on
Fats,
this podcast.
protein.
yeah.
So tomorrow
Lots of
morning,
water.
some eggs and loads of water.
Yeah, but not even too much water, because what happens when you dump your body with water, the body then realizes there's too much water in the bloodstream and it upregulates your urination cycle. So that's why I'd go for like maybe a Powerade Zero or something.
Yeah, and then I think like they say the recommended is like a cup every half an hour. So your hydration levels have to be like the average has to go up slowly. So if you had 2 liters of water now, then like you said, it would just come out. So you just got to make sure you're hydrated every half an hour or whatever, so you get to a point where you're going to be better.
Think of it this way: a lot of athletes, when they want to passively dehydrate, so a lot of fighters, when they get in the bath and sauna, they're dehydrating without exercising. But some of them do water loading, where they'll drink 10 liters, up to 10 liters a day. then they stop. They go to 1.5 liters, which is still quite a lot. But their urination cycle is so upregulated, they piss themselves dehydrated.
But that would always be the thing when I'd compete. But in weightlifting, you have to weigh in 2 hours before competition.
2 hours?
Yeah, so you can't really be water loading or anything like that, or anything too harsh up to the thing. But the only thing you'd focus on was making sure, if anything, you can drink in that period up to your weigh-in. And then even after weigh-in, I wouldn't have a huge meal, even if I'd cut loads, because I was going to compete in an hour or so. So I'd just have water and rehydrate.
I'm getting the sports dietitian, Geordie, on the podcast in 3 weeks' time. He's been doing a lot of fighters. And he actually did that Brenton, who we watched fight at Eternal MMA.
Who's Brenton?
Jordan.
Yeah, so hold on, let me get his profile up.
So on Insta?
Yeah.
So.
And I think he's like let's have a look.
Do you find that there's many opposing views in nutrition?
You seen that's good. The fight dietitian.
In what sense, though?
I think he's like the gold standard of fucking prepping fighters.
Oh, that's sick.
In the sense that in weightlifting, that people have different views, different techniques, different, approaches. Where it's something that's quite, they're both science-based, but do you find that in nutrition as well, that people have completely different?
Yeah, I think everyone goes for what works for them. And I think a lot of people, whatever works for them, I don't think they think about genetics and their upbringing so much. So they're like, this is the best way. But some people, like genetically, they just don't put on any fat. So anything that they do works for them. So they're always talking about that, not thinking about the person that, say, was a fat kid or struggles with weight or whatever, gives them something that works for them, but doesn't completely understand that this way does not work for that individual. I think we all respond very differently.
Yeah. Is that why you think that people probably benefit more from something that's personalised when it comes to working out their diet than something that's generic? Or is there still
There's a lot
set
of
things that apply to everyone?
When we're talking about genetics as well, I think people always think it's like this lever of how much fat you burn an hour. But some people, from a genetic standpoint, move more. They fidget more.
Yes.
Some people can't sit still. Some people, from an upbringing standpoint, I couldn't sit in bed all day because my mum and dad never let me stay in bed. Like, if I was in bed at 10 a.m., my mum comes in, get outside. But then also people's eating habits. Paula Lima, he eats so slow. He eats like a 6-year-old boy.
Yeah.
You're at Nando's, you're like, bruv, you're like the biggest, most alpha male I've ever seen, and you're eating 1p at a time.
Yeah. Lean people habits, man. You see it. And even, you got that friend, yeah? Kind of like Ferris. You're eating out, and these fuckers are always leaving food.
Yeah.
And no wonder they're lighter, they're leaner. It's because they don't eat as much, and it's over time because we us three, we don't have that filter where we still eat when we're fully satisfied.
Yeah.
We keep going. There is
Until
no,
it's
there
gone.
is,
Until it's gone.
yeah. Whereas like you can, you're leaner than us. You hold on to
Wait, he's actually more of a snake than you think. Sonny, I haven't forgotten, about 2 years ago, we went to Westfield. He took me up to that Asian place up top, and we ordered some real greasy, like, dumplings and stuff. I ate my half, then there's 2 left. I go, that's you. He goes, no, I've eaten enough for today. And I went, what? And he fucking snaked me. He let me eat my part, and then I couldn't leave him, so I had to eat his.
Nah, to be fair, that is me. I'll just eat for what I've got on in that day. If I'm not training, I'll eat half the amount of food that I will do when I am training. Today I've flogged myself. I'll eat as much calories as possible today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, not going to train. Probably won't eat
You
as
also
much.
have to remember as well, like anyone that's listening to this, is you can't compare someone like Sonny to, say, yourself, because he's an Olympian, and how your training is crazy intense. The intensity is crazy. So the energy you're exerting is mad. And how many years have you been doing that?
He only lifted it once.
I don't even put it down. I drop it now.
Yeah.
But how many times do you lift it once?
Yeah.
So there's accumulated volume over the week, right?
You burn a lot more calories lifting weights than people appreciate, I think. Because that was one of the things that when I was using that Whoop band, like,
Did you stop using yours because it was shit as well?
Yeah, I did, because I do like really intense weightlifting workout, and they'd be like, "You've burnt 12 calories." I'm, fuck off.
Yeah, no.
I'm not having that. But yeah, it doesn't. your heart rate goes up to 180, 190 beats per minute when I was on my top sets.
How many years have you been weightlifting?
16.
Like religiously, like
16. Proper. Since I started, I was doing 4 sessions a week.
So 16 years. 16 years. So yeah, you can't get fat, bruv. That's what I'm saying. Not now, but like if you carry on the way you're training. No, it's hard because the intensity of the way you're training is Crazy. Since I've got to Australia, my intensity's dropped, bro. That's why I've put on a bit of body fat and put on a few kilos. Do you know what I mean? So
it's the moving, though, I think, for you, probably not doing your same routine as what you do.
It could be that or just eating out every fucking meal
for
4 months.
98% of all the meals we fucking eating out.
Bruv, my Commonwealth sent me a message the other day. You know, on the app, it says, this is how much you've eaten out.
Yes.
Bruv, if my dad saw that, I would be getting the belt, bruv.
Getting the belt.
I'll be getting a belt.
That's why I do fucking love the Commonwealth Bank app. I had a $5,000 Uber bill.
What?
Haven't you got a car?
Not yet.
Fucking hell.
Just to let you know, Sonny, you do have a car. Because you sent me the number plate you bought for it today. That's it.
It's not come yet. It's sick, innit?
Personalised number plate.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Those of you guys that are listening, you're like, oh, we can hear you eating. It's because we're eating. Deal with it. Do you want to tell people about this can?
Do you know why I bought this can? Because the branding just looks sick. I didn't actually even know what it was until I bought it out here in the shop with the boys.
What is it?
It's an energy drink.
What's it
Simpson
called?
style. Duff.
You know what? If we ever done ads, that'd be the perfect way we just did that.
It's called Duff.
I'd be so good at doing ads.
Same.
We could all try it.
Oh my God, Smith. Your hair looks great today.
Why, thank you. This Kevin Murphy shampoo and conditioner has been revolutionising the way in which I do my hair.
That's funny. I've been using it too.
That explains why your hair looks so good.
Glorious.
Oh my God.
Well, what the fuck happened to me then?
Too much weightlifting. That's what creating.
I was listening to Andrew Schwartz's podcast today with Dylan Dallas. Dennis, sorry, my bad. No, Dildo Dallas, that's what they were calling him.
Really?
That's what they were calling him, bruv, from his antics. I can't figure that guy out.
He's only had 2 wins in Bellator.
But he's so confident. I can't tell if he's actually like a proper troll or if he actually really believes in himself.
But he's
really
like, I'm the best, baby. And I'm
It
like,
must
"You've
be
had 2
part and
fights."
parcel.
What's that?
Part and parcel of being a fighter. You have to have that.
Yeah, otherwise, it's mad because there are some amazing fighters that don't ever make it in the UFC because they don't cause enough issues.
Yeah, a lot of it is marketing, isn't it?
Like Conor McGregor, whatever you think
Nailed
about
it.
him, whatever you think about it, he's the smart. You got to remember, Conor's career isn't just how many fights he's won.
Yeah.
But I think this is a massive point, what Ferris has said there. The marketing behind like that standing out. We're talking about him now because he's acting like he's big
true.
man.
Now they're going to, everyone listens to this going, who's this?
And people are complaining all the time about who's getting the most amount of money for fights. But you look at it's the personalities that are getting the most
Jake
amount
Paul,
of money.
Ben Askren. I'm buzzing for it. Like, Ben Askren has never been an excitable character to me. I'm growing so much love for him just seeing how he's dealing with everything. Jake Paul has always been my second favourite Paul brother. And now I'm buzzing Minan's tits off, cheers mate, for fucking watching that fight. Everything they've created, people there go, oh, he's a dickhead. Oh, he's not even that good at striking. You're missing the whole fucking point.
But they're not missing. They're still watching.
Yeah.
And that's what they want.
Yeah.
And it's making it work.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was watching one of his interviews and he said about like, why did you trash talk Masvidal so much? And he was like, it was all a play. He was like, if I didn't trash talk him, he would never have got angry and taken the fight. He was like, because he's so much better fighter than me. He was like, I had to provoke him one way. So people see that and go, oh, Ben Askren's a dick. But really, it was a business move. He got the fight. So everything behind the scenes, it's all a ploy to...
Yeah.
Everything is for a fucking reason. Everything we do, we're looking for a reaction of some kind. Everything we fucking do.
I'm buzzing for the fight. It's like getting an ostrich to fight a lion.
Who's your money on?
Do you know, I think Ben Askren's come out as favourite.
Really?
Should we have a little bet on it?
I don't bet. It's against Allah.
Right. not during Ramadan.
Yeah. We'll bet dates, isn't it?
No, that's still wrong.
Real dates.
Real days.
The thing is, so Jake Paul can move, he can punch, but he's not really been able to prove that to anyone because he's only fought an NBA player.
But that's all we've heard. Like, we haven't really seen him.
He's got the access to the best trainers, the best facility, the best nutrition. The guy flies in a private jet everywhere. His stress is probably, through the floor. He could do what he wants. Ben Askren's a very smart guy. I think he's only been knocked out once by Masvidal. He's never been knocked out with a punch on the chin.
And he said he fully wasn't even knocked out.
So for people who don't know, who's this other guy? I know Jake Paul, the YouTuber.
Ben Askren is a all-star American wrestling hero who was very accomplished in the One Championship and Bellator.
And is he now fighting in the UFC?
No, he fought in the UFC. He had 2 fights. One which he won controversially with a bulldog choke, where they're saying he wasn't even sure if the other guy was unconscious. Then he got kneed in the head famously by Masvidal, the quickest knockout ever.
Which anyone would have got knocked out at.
Masvidal knew that because he was a wrestler, he'd stick his head down if someone ran at him. But what I loved was when he woke up from being knocked out in hospital, he just tweeted saying, "Well, that sucked." and on Impulsive, Logan Paul's like, "So you're fighting my brother, like blah blah blah," and he's like, "Yeah, you know what, man? If your brother's better than me, he's probably gonna win. But I don't think he's better than me, and that's about it."
Fair play.
But he was such a nice guy about it.
Yeah, he's 37. He's over that phase in a sense as he's got a family, he's got kids. He don't really care. He's like, he's got a wrestling academy, so people are like, "Oh, don't you think the kids are gonna take the piss out of you?" He's like.
But he's going to enjoy it. It sounds like he's just going to enjoy it because he doesn't care.
Bigger pay slip than he ever got in UFC.
Yeah, how mad's that?
Brilliant.
He's fighting someone from YouTube and he's getting paid more than he's ever got in the UFC.
Crazy.
Not to make this a UFC talk, but GSP was on. We're just talking about other people's podcasts. GSP on George St. Pierre, Joe Rogan talking about John Jones. John Jones versus Ngannou, heavyweight. That's going to be massive.
Is he taking that fight now? Because didn't he want more money?
He did, and I think that's absolutely.
He wanted 10 mil.
Absolutely.
Who wanted 10 mil?
John Jones.
Give it to him. Pay the man.
That's not even a lot, though, is it? Compared to
Oh.
McGregor got 50, didn't he, or something?
Nah, not a UFC.
No UFC. Maybe
Not
with
UFC.
the boxing.
No, with the boxing.
Yeah,
with
the
Mayweather,
boxing with Mayweather.
UFC still not to that
60
standard.
G's, baby.
But you got, yeah, fuck. Because UFC are so good at marketing everything. Everything is UFC's the top dog.
UFC 224, and they don't even put the names in, do they?
Exactly. With the boxers, boxing is usually the names.
Yeah, true.
Tyson Jones.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
I really enjoyed that fight that we went to watch. I never thought I was going to get that into.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So a little bit of a small world for everyone. Sonny went to the Whit Sundays in Hamilton Islands. You met an MMA fighter, John.
Yeah, John Fraser, Welsh bloke.
I was training in Gold Coast, got beaten up by someone. He said, "Oh, my fighters are in town." It's the same Welsh bloke, but
It's the same bud.
it's the same.
It's the fucking same bud.
Fucking John Bad's come from the Welsh country like that, and he's fucking come on to the Sunshine Coast. He's
I was
fucking.
chatting to Sven, and Sven knows butt as well.
Of course he does. You're from Wales, fam. You're from fucking Wales.
You're actually
you-
so good at that.
You know what they say in Wales,
mad.
bud? They say if you can see the valleys,
That's so good.
it's going to rain.
Good.
And if you can't see the valleys, it's already raining.
James. James.
Hell of a
He
fight,
was
anyway.
here. He was
John,
here.
I rolled with him on Thursday.
Did he come to your gym, yeah?
Beat the fuck
I
out.
hooked him up at a restaurant on
didn't
Saturday,
really-
took his missus out to Prince of York.
I fucking bet you did. Was he? Does he know about it?
What?
I hope he's not listening.
He will be listening.
Oh, shit.
I didn't
John.
beat him up. He very good top pressure. Like I just used this fucking. He's got a fat head. I thought I had a fat head. He's got
Bro,
a fat
he
head.
came to the drum circle, innit? And he's like, "Oh, your ears are still all right." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yours are not." And he was like, "Touch
Yeah,
it." He
yeah.
goes, "Mate, mate, it's so thick." He was like, "Mate, it's so good when you got top pressure. I sometimes put the ear in someone's face, they tap from that." I was like, "Fucking
You've
peace."
been going to that quite regularly, haven't you? The old,
Drum circle.
yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun, bro.
Tell us about it, bro. Like,
Bruv, I've been
getting all
in my
spiritual shit.
obviously, man did that podcast where I did psychedelics, so everyone knows, so it's all good. Because
Yeah.
obviously, in the last podcast, I was like, I've never done drugs before, but I also feel
It's not
you
really
know
a
what-
drug. It's
but
mushrooms.
But this is what. This is the
It's
thing.
vegan, brother. You're fine.
But this is the thing. I feel like calling it a drug. I feel like it's
disservice.
yeah, because it was the most spiritual thing I've ever done, bruv. And I've been kind of.
I've seen it in the
This
movies,
guy's
brother.
blowing fucking Maltesers on the table.
What you want to do?
He's talking about psychedelics. Going,
Yeah. I'm just talking about spirituality. Man's blowing a fucking
Maltese.
Like, big man. Let me. I feel like you need to hit that shit.
Give me some namaste. Come on.
Do you know, the mushrooms.
I
that-
got a stitch.
The magic mushrooms you get as far as psychedelics, I feel like they're on a spectrum of introspective to like hallucinations, and the ones that were involved in that ceremony were not hallucinogenic ones. They were more introspective. There's a type from Amsterdam called the Philosopher's Stone, which I've done several times.
Sounds so good.
But mate, you can't. People think you go there and you see like elephants floating in the sky. You're completely normal. You get a buzz. You go sit somewhere with a playlist and you think about your life. And you're not faced with horrible demons. You're faced with thoughts you've been suppressing for completely normal reasons.
But I think whoever is doing that, they need to let go and allow their mind to go into those places instead of thinking it as, oh, I'm seeing shapes, party drug. Because I feel like a lot of people do that. From what I've heard, anyway.
100%.
You know what I mean?
If you see a therapist, they're going to dig, grab something that you've said, bring it up and expand it.
Yeah.
When you do psychedelics in this setting, you do it yourself.
Yeah.
And it's almost like when people meditate, they relax and they really switch off. Some people smoke weed to bypass it so they can just get to that state. Psychedelics really bring you to that state. And, you know, I've had some really powerful revelations from mine. I completely decided whether or not I wanted to have kids. It made me consider what sacrifices I need to make for a family life moving forward. Every single thing from taking psychedelics and mushrooms has put me in a net positive position. On the other side, we've spoken about DMT before. Yeah. And if I had a kid, 18, Dad, I've got a real existential crisis. You know, I'm considering going to a clinic and taking magic mushrooms. You know, or even if it was like me and my friends doing it, I would give them my full blessing to do it.
Yeah,
mashallah.
Like, yeah. Like,
I think it's like Darren said. It's definitely the situation. Like when I tried it, I was definitely put in a situation to reflect. Like you know, my mate put me in a room and he said, "Here's a pen and paper. Listen to these beats and just namaste."
What was your favourite part? Okay, here we go, Darren. What were you thinking it was going to be and what was it?
And the second part to that question is, why now?
Okay.
Let's start with the first one. What did you think you were going to experience?
I thought I was going to experience the shapes, the this, everything about Darren times 100, like all my senses heightened from the things that I've heard. But I didn't expect to go as deep as I thought. And I also didn't, it's weird, it's like I felt like I grew up more because I was kind of having conversations with myself that I was kind of like blocking out, you know? And it's weird because even now, I don't know if you've realized, but I'm not on my phone as much and I'm trying to be more present than ever. If I'm having this conversation, I want to give my full focus to the person I'm having a conversation with. If I'm on my phone, I'm answering story questions properly. If I'm not doing it, I'm not doing it. If I'm walking, I'm just walking and enjoying wherever it is. Even like I'm going and meditating with Lucy Lord in the mornings, my focus actually is better. I can actually shut my eyes off and like try and concentrate to be present. When I first came, when I was trying it, it was like my mind was drifting off so many times. Emails, this, that, I need to post, this, that. And what I've realized is the more I let go of that sort of thing and enjoy whatever the activity is that I'm doing, when I actually put my focus into when I am working, social media, whatever it is, coaching, whatever, I've realized the quality is so much better.
Rather than trying to do it half-assed or under pressure.
Yeah, and I think the best thing coming out of it was almost a bit of clarity to be like, you know what, Darren, you're actually doing okay. You're actually just worrying about yourself right now and your own growth and not paying attention to anyone else's and just carry on sort of thing. It was weird. It's hard to explain.
No, I think you explained that perfectly.
Do you know what I mean?
I think
it's really hard. Like, there was more things that happened and then every
the
so
mushies
often.
Brother.
You know what? And you know what? It was, I think, the answer to your question, why now, is I've always, you know, Smith, I've always said, like, if I was to do anything, I would try psychedelics because everything I've heard about psychedelics has kind of been positive. And everything that we usually do is, like, we have fun, obviously, but we like to grow. Everyone here, we like to grow. We like to upskill, whatever it is. I think now was the right time is because I'd like to think I'm quite mature and I'm an adult. I'm 29. So, like, I feel like if I was to do this when I was too young, there's certain things that I would not be able to accept. There's certain conversations or cope or be able to reflect and take action from the things that have happened until this point.
Yeah. Well, I think the odds are, you know, all three of us, we've had that experience and every one of us has come out of it with a positive, you know, outlook. Like you said, although there's difficult conversations, there's still, you come out of it feeling quite enlightened.
Yeah, proper enlightened. And, you know, it was, and okay, this also made me think about, like, religion, everything. And I was having all these thoughts in my head when I was doing all this, right? And I was like, this is so spiritual right now. Whatever's happening, whatever I'm thinking about, And in my head, I was like, is this what religion feels like? Is this what it's like for you to say have that connection with Allah? I don't know if you've ever had that connection. A lot of people say to me that they do. I don't know how spiritual you actually are. I know you're Muslim and you practice, but how spiritual are you and how much does that actually help you? Whereas when I did it, I was like trying to fully let go, and I was like, fuck, I'm actually having this weird connection that's helping me out. Do you know what I mean? And I was like, there must be a link to this because our ancestors would have been doing this shit, bruv.
Have you ever noticed that the connection you feel that's almost godlike is almost actually happening with yourself?
Bro.
You unlock more of your like brain almost.
It's introspective. You feel this other power. You feel all these thoughts, but you're not. When people have a God, they reach up to a man in the sky, he talks down to them. But I was talking to myself, and the things that I said to myself are such short sentences. I'm talking 5-6 words. And I had to accept that. It wasn't like someone telling me this is the advice. I had to hear it from myself and know it was true because it was produced by me and listened to by me. It wasn't someone next to me going, this is the advice that I'd give you. And you never ignore advice that you give yourself. But it's also so strange that I put my phone down, put on music. There was one time where I was sat on literally the edge of a cliff, right? And everyone's like, oh, I'm like, no, I'm fucking sober. I'm just high off my tits on mushrooms. I'm dangling one leg over the edge. And the sun's on my face. I've got my headphones in. I'm looking down at the sea, and I can see people getting off a boat, diving. They're like snorkeling about, and there's like wind in my face, and there's rocks aside. And I'm looking. I'm just going, this is fucking beautiful. This is amazing. And when I'm looking at people in there, I'm so happy for the people down there living a completely separate, different life to me. And like, I just appreciate everything, even the clouds. I'm like, fuck this sky. I'm so glad there's clouds there. And I think, do I need to take drugs to experience this? And the answer is yes, because I'm constantly distracted otherwise. And for 5 or 6 mates to take a whole day out of life with not using their phones to all experience this introspective, beautiful reality of the world and share it with each other is such a powerful thing. It's so powerful. And the people that have been there around me, I was like, guys, you've just given me one of the most beautiful days of my life. Like, there is no night out. There is no type of alcohol. There is no type of other party drug that can give me this. And when you come round from it and you'll go for dinner together at the end of it, I look round and I'm like, guys, we've just had like one of the most important days of my life, because the actions from that, your decisions in your head, there's sometimes you do things without even knowing why, and it gives you the ability to do it. And in one day you can think about, it's a month's worth.
Oh, bro.
A month's worth of thinking in a day.
It was one, I'm not going to lie, it was one of the best things I've ever done. And the mad thing is, and I wouldn't just say that either, because I would never mislead anyone to do anything wrong, because it's not in me to be that person, you know? And I'm not saying it, go do this, whatever, do whatever the fuck you want. But I think you can really have a positive outcome by doing stuff like this, by exploring yourself. Everything that we do and what society pushes us to do, let's have a beer, let's do this, cocaine that, let's go out. Every fucking thing people do on the weekends is literally numbing yourself from your reality. Whereas this is enhancing your reality and helping get your reality better. Do you know what I mean? And that's the biggest 100%. Problem. We're numbing ourselves all the time.
I don't know about you, but after my experience, I didn't, and I'm sure this is something that people worry about, is that urge to do it again. And I didn't really feel that at all, that I wanted to rush back and give it another go again. And never since that moment have I wanted to do it again. And it was purely because it was an experience that I'll, like you said, always cherish and remember, but I never felt the rush to want to do it again. I think there's certain periods in your life when you need to work things out, or you need that time when you want to connect with yourself on a deeper level where it can be useful, but it may not come again, or it may come 6 months apart or a year apart.
It's not like as well, you're like, oh, I've just had some bad news, get me some mushrooms. Where if it's cocaine and alcohol, a lot of people...
But that's what happens. Let's go have a beer.
Yeah, oh, mate.
Let's go have a beer. You having a shit day? Let's go have a beer. Let's numb it.
When I knew I was getting deported, I was like, Darren, come meet me for a beer.
Yeah.
And like, it's one of those things where completely that, and you say it's the complete opposite instead of numbing. And again, I took LSD one of the last days of December just before I decided to stop drinking, which I've done for over 100 days now.
Congrats.
And it was
well done.
It was one of the introspective thoughts that I had when I was taking LSD, where I was like, when I go out drinking, getting drunk, having casual sex with strangers, it was to numb the fact that I didn't really have anyone in my life that I loved in that capacity. It was 100%.
I'm so glad you said
I'm
that.
glad, yeah.
And I know my friends thought
Fucking hell, I was
that.
only taking him fucking.
Like,
No, it's good.
but
Yeah,
my
true.
friends knew that. I knew that. Every person in my even my family probably knew that as well. And when I was thinking about it, I was like, James, if you continue to drink and do this, you're just going to masquerade your true ambitions. And having casual sex with people all the time, and and it becomes more easily accessible as time goes on. And I was like, I've got to stop this, because until this isn't going to open the door to me finding someone that I want to spend long periods of time with. It's just not.
But do you think that became a point then where that action just became meaningless and it didn't actually give you anything other than the...
It didn't. And I remember sat in your car, Sonny, and I said to you, I don't know why I'm anxious about last night, because on paper I had a great night, but I woke up and I fucking hated it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've just got to stop this. And do you know what? If I'm going to meet a woman who's right for me, it's not going to be on a fucking night out. It's not going to be pissed. Oh, yeah, fucking met this girl at the bar. I don't want to talk like Will it.
He texted me, he's like, where are you? So I'm going to the Coogee Pav, and he just texts back going, she's not there, Ferris. He came back, I was like, you're right.
But you know what? You probably had to do all that to realise that. And even when I was in mushrooms, I was like, Darren, fuck. From your last fucking relationship, all that, you've got commitment issues, bruv. You need to fix that. I was having these conversations with myself. I was like, and you know what? And you start thinking about this, because after you have an experience like that, you process things over, not just that day. It's kind of, it's weird. It's like...
You look back and go, fuck. That
Yeah,
decision,
you keep thinking about it I'm still thinking about certain things, the thoughts that I've had. And it's nice because you're going back and it's like different parts of my brain are working now, and you're thinking about things in a more deeper... I want to go deep. I want to do DMT, bruv.
Yeah.
No, I do. I want to go deeper. I just want to know.
Tonight, if you want. Mate, I tell you what, it's kind of like a bit of a deep revelation. I haven't really shared this with anyone since we did it, or I last did it. But for me, I was starting to think, all right, James, if I was to look around at all the people around me, who's got the most money? I'll win. But I was like, I don't even care that much about money. And I was like, sure, married, happy, settled. I was looking, Sunny, long-term relationship, happy, settled. And I was looking at all my friends and I was like, if we want to put a leaderboard of followers and money, which are two things I don't care that much about, I'm winning. But if I was to start looking at meaningful relationships, chances of having a family, all of these things, I was like, James, if you don't sort out your priorities, you're going to get left behind. I'm also the oldest out of my friendship group.
Sonny's like, you haven't seen my bank account, mate.
Well, you don't know how much merch I've been selling.
Switzerland.
I get that, but I think it's also like from the day I met you, Sonny, you guys had you had a few followers when I first met you, whatever. I never ever even thought about that, right? Because I just don't care about those things, right? And when you remove yourself from that, there's times where you're like, oh, fuck, you need to push more. We do that. We hold each other accountable. When someone does a fucking sick post, you're like, nah, I'm not getting out of this room until I do a post as well.
We're like that every day.
Which is it's good. It's healthy. It pushes. You hold each other accountable, which is great. But then there's also that line where, like, when someone is doing something, an opportunity that's come for them, you shouldn't have to worry about that. Just focus on yourself, whether it's money, whether it's a girl, whether it's flying first class, whether it's having a nice T-shirt or not. It's just, your focus sometimes, when we walk down the street, sometimes everyone judges people, right? Everyone. When we judge someone, it's like a reflection of yourself. It's like, hold on a second.
It's your own insecurity.
I'm such a fucking insecure cunt. I need to bring this back to me and be like, no, Darren, don't do that because that's not you. Do you know what I mean?
But I think the things that, you mentioned there, money, followers, they're all byproducts of you doing what you do really well anyway. And by switching the focus from that as like an outcome goal and thinking about the process and the bit that you actually fucking enjoy, waking up each morning, helping people, your why as to why you do this every day, it makes it much easier to actually enjoy the journey rather than, like you said, focusing on those outcomes that actually don't feed you at all. You take the energy from the journey.
When we live each day, if you do not take real control of your mind, you're almost plugged into the matrix of focusing for what society makes us think is important. Yeah. TV, media, advertising, fame, success, monetary reward, all of these things. And it's when you take psychedelics, you completely backstep out of that. And you, instead of seeing life as days, and I remember when I took DMT, I felt that it was so shit that we divvied up time and given it words. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Yeah. I was like, in essence, life is just a span of existence that we have. And when you take psychedelics, you backstep and you go, this is all I have. And I'm moving through it. And I remember looking at my watch as I was on mushrooms, just going, this is going to get away from me. And it's almost like you think to yourself, and I certainly did then, I was like, if I don't concentrate on the things that I need to get from my life, I'm going to be so far ahead. And do you know what? As well as generating good habits, I'm also generating bad habits. And that is what my ego would not let me face without the psychedelics. If I just listen to my ego, it will tell me that I'm doing everything great. But when I went on mushrooms, it was like, you're not so great, James, because you are not putting the effort into relationships. You're not putting the effort into being a good man to find a good woman. You're not putting the effort in with your family. Yeah. You haven't FaceTimed your parents as much as you tell people you are. And it was all of those realities that I had to face. And I was like, fuck. And like when people say,
it's amazing that you've recognized that, and you can now say it out loud. Because I think that's a big thing between, ignoring something that you're doing that's bad, and then acknowledging it, and then you've gone full circle now in the fact that you've now just said it openly because you've taken ownership over that part of your life. And
it's very liberating as well to have these emotions and have that kind of reality check. And you can check in back with that, but it's so dangerous when we live within a world where we accept our own reality because it's so easy to get away with stuff. If you do well in your job, that's enough to keep you going through life, and you don't question anything. And then when you're not happy, you're like, well, work's good.
But yeah, it's funny what you said about the ego. It's like what you said about your ego there. We all have an ego, but like that's like kind of protecting you. Your ego is trying to protect you when it's doing that. And when you realize, and when you take psychedelics, your ego kind of drops and you become vulnerable. Yeah. Which is, like, I became really vulnerable in moments, and it was weird. I kind of liked it at moments. It was nice to let your fucking guard down for a bit.
I had to keep looking at my hands, like in moments when I felt that, to just know that I was still in reality. Because it does get you a little bit at moments. I found when I felt insecure or,
because you don't feel
vulnerable,
safe.
You don't feel safe.
You don't feel safe, and not feeling safe is fucking scary. But it's so hard to. I was listening to something, and it was talking about ego, and it was talking about how like dogs' brains have not developed enough to have an ego, so therefore they're so present and they are who they actually are. Whereas the way we create our ego and the things that we create, you might say something to me, and I might be like, hold on a second. Dirren won't take that. Dirren's going to say something back. But maybe Dirren wouldn't say something back. Maybe Dirren would just walk away. So why is my ego pushing me to do something? You just need to kind of let go. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And like I've been thinking more about those things. Like when someone asks me something, I'm like, what would the actual Dirren? Like, what's my ego? Like what's happening? Like it's hard figuring it out.
It's like a complex computer where like there'll be a moment in my life where I go, fuck, I'm coming up to 32 and I haven't had a relationship that's lasted more than 3 months in nearly 10 years. Right? And then I'll go, but work's good, isn't it? Yeah. Book sales though. You know what I mean?
But I think it's all
book 2 though.
Book of the year though.
but it goes both ways.
Yeah.
So some people now do that with their relationships, which is fucked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, work shit. Yeah, love my missus. Or kind of. It goes both ways. Do you know what I mean?
Lean too much on their relationship.
Exactly. And then when it flops,
they move to Australia.
Well.
But it's one of those things. I think it's just a matter of seeing it, doing your best to take action from it, and whether you do something about it or not, it's really your fucking problem.
Most people don't get to that realization that you got to for years.
Yeah.
They will drink and snort coke and push themselves to a marriage they don't want. Their marriage will combust at 30s, 40s. Then they'll go through an existential crisis, go off the rails, get a convertible, then end up having a younger person date them for their money, and they'll just go through their whole life.
Bro, and that would have been me. I would have been banging hookers at the age of 40.
But I think it comes down to...
But if you would have,
Allah won't let him.
If you don't take control of the way your mind's going and you don't have these introspective conversations, you will. Like you say, and I was chatting to someone, it might have been even you, Sonny. I go, what would you need to survive 6 days of hate in your life, or 5 days of hate in your life? And it would be abundance of alcohol and cocaine. And that's what the majority of people do on Saturday and Sunday. Friday, they're at breaking point. They get bags and alcohol. They go through an up and down cycle. They do it again Saturday. Sunday, they have to face their demons. They hold their breath for 5 days and they do it again.
Yeah.
And never is it, I should stop this or change this. It's just a continual cycle on repeat. It's like the same song over and over again. And there are people that I know that are doing that. But it also makes it difficult because you don't want to, sometimes you just unassociate with these people, which is a very dangerous thing, because then, like watching fucking bacteria in a petri dish, the people that all do this collectively come together and you move away. It's like putting oil and fucking vinegar together. They just separate. And then you've got a group of people such as ourselves that are talking about our emotions openly, while you've just got another collective of people snorting coke off a fucking coffee table at 4 o'clock on a Saturday night.
Yeah. And if you feel like that, anyone that's listening, take action from it.
Take a time out. Have a few weekends off.
I think the thing that we need to go back to or needs to be addressed is the effect that society gives us to want for more, or like you said, with money, for example, you feel like, you know, you potentially want more money or more book sales or that kind of thing. If we didn't know that there was more out there, would we be more content with what's right now?
I don't think society wants that. I think the ego wants that. You know, I don't think society wants that. I think society, the most common thing society has is hating their life.
But we're exposed to so much more than we've ever been exposed to previously.
I think society also plays into our ego when we have like job titles and professional hierarchies, where we've got car brands in the capitalist, extremes, where, you know, new Lamborghinis. Because when Lamborghini released the Urus, it's your ego that wants it.
Which I want one.
It's your ego that wants to drive that past the guy who hates you, past the kid that fucking called you a fat tabulard at school, against the fucking people on LinkedIn that used to never gave me the job promotion I wanted at 21. Like, that's the ego. And I think, you know, we shouldn't be egoless or anything like that. But I think, like you say, it's a mixture of both. And people are always going to play into human tendencies for their ego. Fucking, you know, Rolex do it for a living.
But it's, you also need an ego. You need an ego.
Yeah.
You know? And without it, none of us would be here talking to this and people listening to this. You know, you need an ego to get to somewhere. But it's just, I think, managing it in a way that's not going to harm you.
Yeah, but I think
and the people that you love and the people that love you around you. You know, I think that's the most.
That's such a learning curve, though, that takes people longer than others. And I say I'm still going through that at times. You know, where you learn how to manage your ego, and when it's actually helping people, and when it's not helping people, it's hurting you and others around you.
So when's that Porsche getting delivered? That's the only reason I said I was rich, because Sonny spent all his on a Porsche. No, I'm joking. Some of his.
November.
Kids.
Fucking hell.
Was that the ego talking or the press itself?
I think it was Lyndall talking, wasn't it?
No, it'd be a house. It'd be talking.
All right, interesting thing to talk about. Kardashian photo leak. I don't know which Kardashian
I don't know.
it was.
I don't know about that.
Do you know what?
What is that?
So basically, one of the Kardashians' mums, Chloe, posted a photo.
No, she didn't. It was accidentally leaked by a nun or something.
But
really?
Fuck me. I looked at the photo and thought, it ain't even that bad.
But this is where the problem stems from. Basically,
she thought it was the end of the world, but loads of people look like that and
Have
worse.
you got a photo?
I've got the photo.
The problem
here.
wasn't the photo, it was what she usually posts.
So basically, it was an unedited photo, and everyone's going, hold on a second, this isn't the person that I've been exposed to for years on end in $1 billion. Okay, so there's the differences between the two photos. So she's now trying to sue everyone who posts that photo of her unedited, because...
Who's that?
Is it Khloe Kardashian?
Yeah, Khloe.
Sharp.
Yeah.
That's the same person across two photos. We'll show it to the camera for a sec.
But fuck me, if you took a photo of me when I roll out of bed and then like before mobility manual seminar, I look like fucking two different people as well.
So basically, the first thing to make very clear, there is nothing wrong with this physique. Unedited.
Zero. Great.
Yeah. You look fantastic. You know, you're worth billions of dollars. If I'm worth $1 billion, I'm not having a flat stomach. I'm telling you that now. I'm going to get fat. But yeah, you can tell that they're subject. They've created $1 billion industry of editing photos. Now, you know, if it was any other profession, if you were dishonest or unethical with the way you conducted your business, you'd be facing legal implications for it. And the amount people are living behind facades, and social media has made this. And every time we go to a fitness expo, you're like, oh, I thought you were
bigger.
Yeah. Bigger. How many people said to us at our business event, "Oh my God, you boys are so much taller than I thought"?
Yeah.
Because most people...
Because we don't play angles, that's why. We don't play angles.
I go down like that every time.
I was going to say, I thought we might have a bit more of an open discussion on the Kardashian bum.
Do you know what? I just think it was blown up because it's fucking Khloe Kardashian.
Could have done it on purpose. They could have done it on purpose.
You
so never
good.
know.
They're so good.
They're so good. Yeah. You would never know. Like, we don't know.
But even then, like, it's just fucking bullshit that people don't... And do you know what? And we spoke about this a couple of times before. The filters that people use on Instagram should be fucking illegal. Yeah. Should be illegal. Because there are kids on Snapchat now putting filters on that reduce blemishes, take spots off their face. Do you know how fucked that is?
Yeah. I won't name drop her, but there's a girl who I work with who does that.
Catfish.
Yeah. No. But like they'll edit like their photos. So like they'll edit their skin. There's an app. So I was like, what? Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, she was like, oh yeah, just replenishing up my skin. And I was like, whoa.
Just leave it. Just be like...
Leave that alone.
And that's what's annoying, because we are kind of like living behind digital facades now and digital profiles. All right, well, that didn't get much traction. Ferris, what happened to your foot this week?
I realised that I'm not as conditioned for football as I once was. So I decided to pick up football again after 3 years.
Why did you just randomly, whilst training middle of jiu-jitsu, do that?
I miss it, mate. Miss playing it. And then one of my mates invited me along and then enjoyed the session. I thought, yeah, I'm going to get back in.
Was that when you pulled your hamstring?
No, that was the second game.
Yeah. That was afterwards, yeah.
So, first game back in, I pulled my hammy.
AstroTurf?
Nah, that was just on the grass. Okay. 90 minutes, 30 seconds left. Bam, it goes. I was like, fuck's sake.
When's the last time you played 90 minutes?
3 years ago.
But we were saying this.
I got so happy. I was running around tackles. The manager was like, come off. I was like, nah, keep me on. 90 minutes, boom. Taught me a lesson.
How long were you injured for?
Almost 3 weeks.
So with 3 weeks off from your first game back, you then decided to condition yourself, hit the gym.
Nah. Got a game on Saturday, mate.
Still pro.
Got a game. Brother.
Still pro.
Yeah, star man.
Typical football, I don't know why it happened. then what happened?
10 minutes into the game, I hear a click. My plantar, is it called plantar fascia?
Plantar fascia.
Yeah. Tore it, strained it.
Detonated it.
Yeah, I heard a snap. I just dropped down like someone.
And I get a call or a text message from Smith on Sunday morning. I'm with Fez in A&E. Can you come grab him? I've got a date.
Man's just out here looking for the Wahid, brother.
That's so good. Just throw him right under.
Yeah.
Wait, do you know what? Whilst we're talking about this, right? Yeah. I want to talk about something that I'm not.
Oh no, you've aggregated the bear now. He's going to start throwing.
No, not that.
No, go on.
But like no names or anything. We're not going to stipulate who it was. But I got a phone call from the police a couple of weeks ago, didn't I?
Oh yeah,
mate. Did I tell you about this?
No.
So you know, on the podcast and on socials, I was trying to get my iPhone back. I get a phone call from New South Wales Police.
Fuck off.
They're like, you've got to stop talking about your iPhone, or you're going to get done for like harassment, cyberbullying.
You know what's crazy? I'm not even going to say that. Because
I'll get arrested.
I'll get arrested.
Yeah, you don't need another excuse.
Actually, I'm leaving. Fuck it.
And John, that's something that I've really been pent up and annoyed about. So I thought I'd talk about it on a podcast with hundreds of thousands of downloads. I even said to the police officer, I was like, but it's my phone. He goes, well, go to small claims courts. And I was like, right. And he goes, it will cost you thousands more than your phone's worth. I was like, excellent. He goes, you can't talk about it again.
Wow.
Well, he didn't say you can't talk about it. He's like, you can't pursue it again. Unless you go small claims courts. How mad's that? So basically what I'm saying, lads, is do not let any girl that you date have any of your possessions, because Sunny, she'll drive your car. Right? Lyndall's going to get your car. One day you can have a Barney, she's going to call the police. Right? Yeah. And if someone says on your story questions, where's your car? Don't say anything, because the fucking police will call you.
It's a quick question.
Yeah.
If I see someone walking down the street, and I took their phone.
Nah, because she'll go police, and she'll say it was my intent to get you to do that, and that it was social media that caused you to create these actions.
I would have definitely done that.
Would you?
Yeah, why not? But hold on a second. I'm in London. Say if I'm in London, right? I'm in London.
In the hood.
No, I'm in London, and
you see my. Oh, that looks
I've seen
Yeah,
I've seen one of my friends' phones or something that I know, right? It's been jacked. That's stealing, bro.
Yeah.
Just because, bro, I don't want to say. Just because it's not an ethnic guy, yeah.
But Darren, you are a privileged male. You're cisgender.
Doesn't matter, bro.
You are the same gender you're assigned at birth. You are privileged,
bruv. It's mad. If I go take it, and then it gets reported to the police,
you're getting.
I think the thing is,
not in London. I'll be like, bro, this is my receipt. This is the ID number. I took my phone back.
Not in Sydney.
but I think the thing is, right, when it all boils down to it, someone's gone to the effort to call up the police to make a complaint about you. And that just says how fucking brilliant their life is and how many great things they've got going on that they're putting energy into trying to fuck your day up.
Mate, do you know what?
Have a day off.
I've started locking the doors now because I'm worried someone could come around and take our stuff and then just fucking...
Maybe we should ask how they called the police. Mate, how do you call the police?
Same way they're swiping on Hinge.
So have you learned your lesson then?
Yeah, I literally don't give out anything. You know those little chains you used to have on your wallet when you were younger? I've got one connected to my phone now, isn't it?
No, just get someone to sign an NDA, innit? You sign
NDA before they come into the house.
Oh.
Hey,
Me
just
there
a
with a
heads up,
clipboard.
Do you feel better for getting off your chest though?
Yeah.
Hey, Smith, how about this, bruv? Hey, how you doing? I really like you. I really want to keep this going. Like, wanted to keep dating, but I just need you to sign this NDA before we move forward.
Mate, I might need to start doing something like that, you know? Mate,
What's it called?
What?
It's called an NDA.
I was like, what? Hold on.
No. There's something else when you get married.
Prenup.
Prenup. That's it.
Actually, that's a good conversation to move into.
I don't think I would.
You don't think you would?
No.
So like,
You don't think you would?
So this is
I
real.
wouldn't.
This is a really interesting conversation. So at first I was like, yeah, prenups. But then looking at the gender pay gap, which pretty much in essence, very quickly, women are more inclined to pick lower paid jobs based off their interests. Men are more interested in things. Women are more interested in people. You know, so if a woman becomes a nurse and a man becomes an engineer, across the grand scheme of things, men get paid more. The notion is thought of that men get paid more for the same job. That if you're a manager in Tesco's, a man gets £7 an hour, the woman gets £6.50. That's not the case. But then, not only are women at a slight disadvantage for, on average, earning less than men, then women are more inclined to take time off to bring up children, and women are also more inclined to have maternity leave. Maternity leave has then a lot of complications that if a woman brings up a child for 5 years, then returns to the workplace, they've not been, it's a gap from work for 5 years. They might be less employable. Then for their age, they might be earning less than they would if they hadn't have had kids. And although it's quite a masculine thing to say like, yeah, you know, I'm mad successful, I'm getting a prenup, that does... And it's quite valiant that Diran said that he wouldn't, because he's taken into account if there's a woman in his life and she's going to have time off to bring up the child, then she is entitled to some of the wealth that could be accumulated in the time of being able to remain working. Does that make sense? So like a lot of dudes are like, oh, she's fucking taken half. But the energy that she's saved you by bringing the children, by sacrificing her work, sacrificing her profession, she is actually, should be and would be entitled.
Yeah.
I guess... I guess it depends.
Got to pick the right wife, innit?
I guess it depends. If you're someone that's okay, let's see if you're Jay-Z and Beyonce, you got hundreds of millions, all this stuff to protect themselves. They may have to do that, or whatever. But in my head, I've kind of got the mentality of if I'm stupid enough to pick someone to share my life with, that's gonna do that to me.
That's what I was gonna say.
I do something. I fucking deserve it.
That's what I was going to say.
Do you know what I mean?
Exactly what I was going to say. And I think at the end of the day, if you are going into a relationship thinking, oh, if this goes fucking tits up, we might need to put some papers in place, then that probably tells you straight away then that's probably not the person that you should be spending the rest of your life with. And I know things happen in relationships, but it's either for a fault of your own or for a fault of theirs, in which case, you know, you fucked up.
If I was like... I don't know what kind of man you are if you end up like getting with someone, having a kid with someone, and then just because you broke up with them, you don't go ahead and carry on with, say, paying them whatever or looking after them. Because even if I got to that state with someone, I've gone to a level of respect and in a relationship and a friendship with an individual to get to a level where I care. Just because that happens, I still wouldn't stop caring. I'll do my best still to look after
But
them.
the problem is that normally relationships go past the point where you can have a respectable conversation with someone. It goes to the point where, you know, it's there's hate, there's aggression, there's emotion, in which those conversations can't happen then.
And then it can also stem from the fact that you've tried holding on to a mistake for too long.
Yeah.
So, you know, you get to a point where instead of just saying, hey, this isn't working, you drag it out for another 4 years and you hate each other.
Yeah.
And then it breaking point.
And then you're banging other people and she's like, fuck you, I'm going to take half your money.
Private investigator's got motherfucking photos you hanging out that bitch in the fucking spare SUV.
Snapchat what?
Tiger Woods, Johnny's hanging out on the fucking car park and whatnot.
So like, it's a real interesting one. But then a lot of people seem to think, oh, as a gender pay gap, they go, oh, women can't get highly paid jobs, but women can, right? And people in their 20s are so anyone in their 20s can earn really good money by working 80 hours a week. But then I think it's even more impressive that women do step back from high paying jobs when they get them to bring up children. And I think that, you know, the fact there is a gender pay gap, this is the point I want to make clear, is feminists think it's really, really bad. I think it's incredibly noble that so many women sacrifice their income for the sake of children. I think the fact that there's a gap between what men and women earn is fucking remarkable. And I think it's something that should be celebrated in the sense that, well done women, well done every woman who sacrificed their profession that might have studied at university and stepped down from their job to bring up a child, because that's fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Like, and we got so many people going, oh, you know, we need this, we need this. No, I think that's fucking great. And to every woman who has stepped down from a job to bring up little kids, it's fucking awesome. Well done.
Where's the cheers? Where's the
Yeah, that's a good tune.
No, don't laugh at him.
No.
Love that from you.
That's for the women.
Now what about the
men? Men are more likely to be homeless.
Wait, you know what I just realised about this podcast, yeah? You know, if we were out sitting somewhere, like,
we wouldn't have had this many sweets.
Or this many conversations.
Nah, you don't.
I only open up on social media. I never talk to my friends.
I know.
I only chat to him on this.
And you live together.
I know. That's the worst thing.
How's your day, Smith? Shut up.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what?
Fit.
What do you reckon? Fit? Yeah. But the thing was that me and Smith had the other day, we had Smith come and got me out of my little work routine and we went for a nice bit of food. We were walking down to the beach and we were talking about some of his revelations about relationships and whatnot.
Thanks for the invite.
And you know what? I say, and the easiest thing when it comes to relationships, every person, every woman, every bloke is fucking crazy. There's always a certain level of mental that every person is. You just got to find the level of mental that you're prepared to deal with. And that is, in fact...
What are you trying to say, Carl?
Yeah, what are you trying to say?
You dropped. Why are you nervous?
Oh, we're all about mental.
Wait, that script is sick. Have you seen the script he's reading? Why is that not...
The absolute monologue.
Why is that not your handwriting?
Everyone's got to deal with crazy.
I'm not the
I love you, Lyndall, forever and ever.
Oh,
I hear you.
What is Eminem saying? Anyone else feel sick?
No.
We got noise healings. I mean, sound healing.
What's that, Darren?
What?
What we got?
I don't know, actually. I've never done it.
So you've invited me. Well, Charles invited me to go
Charles
sound
invited
check.
us.
Is that tonight?
Yeah.
Do you want to come?
I've got a voice message from him.
He said he would have said if you're with Sonny and them, if they want to come, tell them to come.
Yeah, he sent me a voice message.
Yeah, if you want to come, yeah. So it's sound healing. Don't know. Never done it. Oh, they've got these mad bowls and that they're going to vibrate on you. It's going to be mad.
I'm all over that.
Oh, you want it? Yeah, come through.
As long as we get some food after this.
We're going to get... It starts at 7:30. And then we're going to get food after. I know it's a bit late.
What are you getting yourself into?
Okay, cool.
It's just embracing the hippie doing, I guess. And Charles invited everyone that we kind of experienced that whole thing.
Come along, Fez.
Yeah, come through.
No, I need to...
Do what?
What?
Do what?
Yeah,
Come on.
do